Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. A lot of people actually voted because they were selfish, right? And the reality is that we are about to see how selfish you are because your selfishness has landed you into something. And then it is not just only causing problem for you, it is also going to cause problem for people that did not know anything about your vote because some people fought so hard to make sure that it is okay, it is better for everybody. But you all went all out there to tell us that we do not want it to be better for you. We just want something for us. If you were not selfish, you wouldn't have done what you did. Now, medicals, when it comes to health, it is really going to be a very tough time for people, especially people with some kind of ailment, cancers, and all that. And for those that have Obamacare, trust me, if they struck all that out, you are not having all that. Why? Because you chose to be selfish. You do not care about other people, and you voted against your own interest. And you come back to tell us that some people are laughing at you when you are playing a reverse psychology on yourself, not us. You are playing yourself. Are you going to buckle up? Straight up, you all are going to buckle up because it's going to also affect everybody. Veterans, people with some kind of ailment and all that. And I see a lot of Black people already crying out how their life is going to be impacted because they have cancer and some other do this thing. Let's get into this video.
Ma'am, you can't expect preferential treatment just because you have cancer. I can't. Really? I can't. The preferential treatment in question was the medication that's been keeping me alive that apparently my insurance no longer covers, and I'm supposed to act like that's not because the alternative prescription is $200, $186 more expensive. I've cried 3 times already today. I'm not gonna cry again. Walking out of a pharmacy after being told that you shouldn't expect preferential treatment just because you have cancer, and then getting online and then having people tell you that you should have empathy for a man that was murdered, who was responsible for the death of millions. So I don't care. Because the CEO of my insurance company isn't going to care if I die because I can't get access to the medication that's been helping me maintain my cancer symptoms. The preferential treatment was me asking for 2 weeks worth of medication because the whole 30-day prescription is just over $500. And apparently asking for that accommodation, asking them to modify my prescription, that's preferential treatment that I believe that I'm entitled to because I have cancer. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell. I hate it here. This is so unfair. This is literal fucking hell. This is literal fucking hell that they're gonna let me die. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. The world is gonna keep spinning. I could die because I don't have enough money. I'm making the most money I have ever made in my life. I'm doing so well financially. And still, that just right when you catch up, by the way, the prescription you can't live without, that's going to be an extra $200. This is hell. This is hell. This is actually hell. We are in hell. This is hell. I could die because I can't afford my medication. I could literally die because I don't make enough money, and I make more money than half of the people in my state. I make $5 above minimum wage, and it's not enough. Ma'am. Since we're talking about the evil that is the U.S. healthcare system, if there's anything that would kill me, it would be my teeth. Yeah, my teeth are probably going to kill me. In the United States, dental care is so expensive that it's unattainable. Most insurance does not cover it. And if insurance does cover dental care, it's because you have to buy dental insurance on top of the insurance that you already have. And even that only covers basic checkups and maybe a cavity filling. Dental issues can cause infections, can cause sepsis, can cause spikes in blood pressure, can cause headaches, can cause strokes, can cause heart failure. And on a lot of days for me, causes a pretty constant pain. I have done what I can do. I've had dental insurance through work only to find out that that dental insurance does not cover the procedures I need. I have fundraised only to find out that procedures have gotten more expensive and the money I raise can now only pay for one procedure. Tried to go like the health credit route, that didn't work. I posted about my dental health journey earlier this year, and dentists told me that I was just looking for free care after neglecting myself. I was told that the pain and the finances were my fault because I had bad priorities. I mean, if you can spend a night out, then you can pay $10,000 to get your whole mouth fixed. These are dentists. So yeah, if there was anything that would take me off this earth, it probably wouldn't be some trained assassin. It would be my teeth. Yay, U.S. healthcare.
Mi gente, how are you? I've been a little busy today. I was trying to do Christmas shopping with a bunch of stores that I am boycotting. That was a difficult task to find what I needed. And if you hear the dog snoring, she's right there. I just sat here and she followed me behind to then snore. But it is in all my videos, so we're just going to keep going. Before I get started, if I have a Trump supporter in here watching, please stay. I promise to be cordial. If we can have a conversation as I talk about all these things coming down the line, I want to know two things. Did you really think that he wasn't going to do this? And how do you feel that he is doing it? And let's have a cordial conversation. Because if you come with anything other, then I promise you I'm going to match that energy times 10. But I really want to understand, are you as surprised as we are? Now, if you tell me that you're surprised, I might say Pinocchio, but again, we're being cordial. So let's get right to it, right? You know that Vivek and Elon met with Congress, the House and the Senate, and had a very ambitious list of things they're going to cut. Number one on the list, it blows my mind that this is number one on the list, but number one on the list is veterans' health care. Veterans' health care. Our military members, they have sacrificed it all for you and I to have the freedoms that you and I have, right? Those are the first people that you go after. But, you know, it falls in line with the fact that our president dodged the military. He made fun of POWs. And none of his cabinet, I would say the majority of them, have never served. How can you even begin to respect their sacrifice for our country? You don't, because you don't understand it. I was a military wife. I know there were plenty of times my husband was not here to help me raise our children while I still worked and took care of the house. And how many things did he miss that he wasn't here for? There's a lot of sacrifices that a military family does, but you can't even begin to understand that. Let me tell you something. Vivek is worth $1 billion. Elon Musk is worth 345. You guys can go look it up. How can two people that never have to worry where their health care comes from, feeding their children, or their money comes from for the rest of their life can even begin to understand what it is to be an average American in the United States today? You can't. The worst people that could be making decisions about what needs to be cut. You know what needs to be cut? Is that you don't need to give corporations, the Elon Musk, the Viveks, the Peter Thiels, they don't need any more tax incentives. You need to give that to the middle class so they can survive. You need to give that to small businesses so they can survive. The middle class is what thrives America. We've said that. Economists have said that, but nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to listen. He's talking about taking the tax deficit, which is already at 17. It was 21 during Obama, 17 down to 15. That 2%, if you tax them or raise their taxes, that's where you can get your money from. So how can Elon Musk even begin to talk about where he needs to make tax cuts from when he is benefiting from paying almost no tax or paying half the amount of tax that you and I pay as middle class? How can that even be okay in any sense of the world? And then you got them cutting Social Security because they don't have to worry about their retirement. They're going to cut Social Security. I paid into it for 35 years. What happens to everything I paid into it? And then Medicare. Changing our Medicare, I think the plan was to put it into private insurance companies. Do you see a theme here? This is just to give corporations more money. And they want to cut government spending while they give corporations money, while they give Elon Musk over and over again contracts that are worth billions of dollars. We can't think to cut anything around there. But we're going to cut it from the people that have sacrificed the most, Medicare for the elderly, the people that need it the most because they can't jump back into the workforce, and then Social Security. So I really want you guys to weigh in on this and let me know what you think. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Something's got to give, but this is what you voted for. So now I want to understand, are you seeing it the way that we're seeing it? Or are you just gung-ho and happy that all of this has happened to veterans, the elderly, and those that paid into their Social Security? Anyway.
Good morning. Currently, 32.5 million Americans depend on the Affordable Care Act for their health care insurance. Did you know that? That's a lot of Americans. I depend on the ACA for my health care. I have for years. And I bet you probably do too. But the Republicans don't care about that, or the fact that they only have a concept of a plan to replace Obamacare. But it seems to be one of the first priorities that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, along with a Trump administration, will go after. Don't believe me? You can listen to his own words.
I mean, healthcare reform is going to be a big part of the agenda. When I say we're going to have a very aggressive first 100 days agenda, we got a lot of things still on the table. But healthcare, that's part. It's the secret. It's the secret. Healthcare reform is not a secret. There's some really important ideas on the table, and we have a docs caucus, the physicians who serve in the House, and they've got a menu of options about this thick. And I think this is part of it, because if you take government bureaucrats out of the healthcare equation and you have doctor-patient relationship, it's better for everybody, more efficient, more effective. That's the free market.
So what you're saying is you want to take government out of healthcare, except for when it comes to women making their own healthcare decisions, right? Because I mean, that's what I'm picking up from that statement. So government bureaucracy is only okay when Republicans are using it to force women to have babies they don't want, punish them for sex. I don't know what we're trying to do here. Kill women? Something about the physicians that currently work in the House or Senate. I don't want anybody that works in the House or the Senate to be making decisions about my fucking healthcare. I'd like to make my own goddamn decisions, just like every fucking other person in America. Hold the fucking phone for a second. You find me any instance in which a man has the government telling them what they can and can't do with their fucking body, or what choices they can and can't make with their fucking doctor. When you can fucking get back to me with the answer to that one, we can have a conversation. Until then, be happy to know that 53% of the votes cast already across the country are all women.
Hi. I have a message for white women, particularly white women who would identify themselves as being liberal or progressive or leftist. I would assume that right now you're feeling angry, upset, overwhelmed at the current state of affairs politically, socially. And I'm right there with you. But I think it's important for us as white women, and I mean that as like I'm generalizing. This is all going to be in general terms. I'm not talking about specific people. But as a demographic, I think that we need to really assess where we've been and where we want to go, because I think there's a lot of history that people are not aware of. In fact, I know there's a lot of history that people aren't aware of, and it's stuff that we need to talk about in order to do things differently moving forward. So white women don't have a great track record of standing in solidarity with other marginalized groups, particularly other marginalized groups of women. And maybe that comes as a surprise to you, maybe it doesn't, but if it does, it's because there's a very specific version of history that we're taught, and it's a version of history that really favors us and centers us. But the truth is that on many, many occasions, white women have said that they're in solidarity with non-white women. And then when the tide looks like it could turn for white women, we jump ship and align ourselves with patriarchal colonial systems. And that has really, really hurt all progress, actually, because we will be making strides as a collective group, as marginalized folks, as people who are being oppressed under a patriarchal system. And then patriarchy will compromise with white women to stop white women from rocking the boat. And then white women will stop rocking the boat because we are given some little thing that we have asked for that doesn't address the needs of the other people who we were standing in solidarity with. But because we got something for us, we're like, well, that's good enough for now. And we forget. Well, we don't forget. We decide that our lives are more important than the other people that that we were originally in solidarity with. And this has happened so many times, and it has really eroded the relationship between white women and non-white women, because non-white women feel like they can't trust us. And I understand that. That makes a lot of sense, because we have shown as a demographic, again, I'm not talking about anyone specifically, but as a group, as a collective, we have said we stand with you, we're right here with you, we're fighting for a future for all of us. And then when the powers that be come to white women and are like, you know what, we'll give you this little piece if you abandon ship. We've done it. We've done it a bunch of times. When white women genuinely are working in solidarity with a wide range of groups who are also suffering under patriarchal, colonial, rule, it genuinely scares. It's a threat. It's a genuine threat. And that's why the powers that be will placate white women to get them to settle back down and to bring them back into the fold and to offer them something. Because if we actually were all in solidarity together and maintained that solidarity, because it has to be liberation for all of us, that would potentially be able to dismantle some of these systems. And so the systems are like, hey, you white women, let's do this for you. We're going to do this for you. We're taking you seriously, and we're going to do this for you. And then we fall for it every single time because it benefits us. But then it will circle back around because we are maintaining the systems designed to not serve us. So we've screwed ourselves over and we've screwed everyone else over. And I just think that maybe we should stop doing that, such that we might be able to inform real, meaningful, systemic change. Most feminism in a Western context has been incredibly white. and incredibly elitist. And that's not ever going to tear down oppressive systems. That's just an additional oppressive system. So if you need a place to start, I would really recommend Women, Race, and Class by Angela Davis. It is pure gold. It is so informative, and it has a lot of history that I guarantee you did not learn in school.
If Obamacare goes away, I do think we'll see a renaissance of sketchy, out-of-pocket doctors who'll give you whatever you want. So, upside?
This is all I got from this video, and each time I talk about how this present and the incoming administration will affect a lot of people. Some people think I am probably over exaggerating it or probably trying to make somebody look bad. Well, sincerely speaking, it is really going to be very bad. I don't know how this might sound, right? But sincerely speaking, it won't be very good. And one thing I have learned to understand is that when people make that decision, it is not only going to affect the people that did not make the decision, it will also affect both the people that made the decision and the people that did not make the decision. That is how bad it is. And I really do wish that the whole thing is just going to affect the people that made the decision so they can smell through their nose, But it's really going to be a very hard time. You all can already see what is going on. And you can imagine when majority of this Obamacare and all that are being cut off completely, what is going to be of so many people. You could hear a sister crying so bad. I mean, she is really scared because she doesn't know if she's going to survive it or not. She is working so hard and putting all her money on medicals. She says she works so hard, but it looks like she is not working hard enough because she has to pay a lot of money on medications. Now, I remember Project 2025 when, before the election, some people were actually doubting if Project 2025 is real, right? I remember where prominent Black men called in youth, right? Called them and they were having heart-to-heart talk. So they brought the Project 2025 and shared it among them and sat them down. And I mean, they already read the Project 2025 and they were referring them to pages to go through, right? And the pages they were going through, when they saw that, they personally told themselves, I cannot stand this. Why? Because I might think that I am very young not to experience some certain things, right? But in the end, my parents are going to really be very, very bad. And my grandparents. Now, sometimes it is all about awareness, but some people already knew about all this and refused to accept it, right? When they went through the Project 2025, especially on the Obamacare, right? They went through it. They saw that if they strike out Obamacare, it is going to affect their parents and their grandparents. And they told themselves, no, I cannot stand myself doing this. Why? Because we might end up paying through our nose. We do not have that luxury. Times are very hard. People are barely surviving, let alone spending all they have. And they're probably being on debt because of medicals. And majority of them told themselves, man, we are not going to vote the other side. We are going to choose ourselves first. And one thing that I am very glad about is that Black people, both men and women, came out and represented Black people, right? But then, looking at the whole thing, a lot is really at stake. Some people do not understand it. Just looking at this sister, looking at their faces and them opening about their heart, they are already scared that the other one is like, my teeth might be what will kill me. And they are telling her maybe you are careless with your tooth. And it's easy for somebody to latch out $10,000, like $10,000. I wish it is easy. I am sure she won't come online and be crying about her teeth. And the other one, if it were easy, I am sure she won't come out online and start crying. How is she going to survive? How is she going to take care of her cancer? And the veteran, no, I mean, I didn't know how I feel now. And it really sucks. It sucks big time because Black people saw all this firsthand ahead of time, right? And they tried all they could to stop it. Unfortunately, other people did not respond. Now we already have veterans that already fought for the country and thank them so much for all their services, right? But as it stands, the healthcare is also like, what is now the essence of serving your country if they are not going to benefit from all this? And that reminds me, I remember a Black brother that served probably in Afghanistan and came back. When he came back, he was paralyzed. When I say paralyzed, paralyzed. He was on wheelchair. So he had an emergency when he probably went to sort out his pay in another city. Then going back, he went to use the restroom, I think in a restaurant, and the restaurant refused him to come in and use the restaurant. And he told him that he is a service, like he has served his country, that he has medical emergency. His bowl, he cannot hold pee for so long, right? So while he was begging them, they refused. I think he called them, he called on, I think probably emergency or something, called him on phone, was telling them that he really needs to use the restroom. And to my greatest surprise, and to everybody's greatest surprise, so I think the man also came out from the restaurant because they did not let him use it. And then then he saw the military men there also on the premises and was trying to talk to them about using the restroom because he is already because he's a military person, he served his country and he has medical emergency. That's why it is like this for him. To my greatest surprise, he is a Black man, and the two military there were three people there, two men and one woman. They started laughing at him, sincerely speaking, and he messed his clothes up. For those that remember this story, you definitely will remember it that I brought it here. I absolutely brought it here. He messed himself up. Why am I telling this story? I am telling this story because some people do not care. And I don't think they will ever care tomorrow. And the more we fight to protect ourselves, there are also people fighting to protect themselves from nobody. Because if these people had fought for themselves, I am sure we will stand here, or I will sit here and be talking about all this. Is it going to be hard? It is really going to be hard. And everybody really got to buckle up. For those that did how they voted and all that, I hope you all also are getting ready, because it's also going to be tough for you by the time they start sending you all home. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.